If you've tried every carry guide out there and still can't consistently gain MMR, this video is about to change everything for you. Here's why. There's no guide out there, not even my own, that covers the fundamental I'm going to share today. None of my videos go over this, and the truth is, I only recently started implementing it myself. But once I did, I climbed from 9.5k to 10.4k with close to an 80% win rate in 10 days. The only time I lose is when I don't apply this fundamental. Here's the thing, 99% of carry players aren't doing this, but you could be that 1% who starts applying this and gets the same ridiculous results I've been seeing. This fundamental will completely shatter your autopilot habits, the number one thing holding most players back from climbing. So what is it? It's simple yet game changing. Having a clear plan for your hero in every game and executing that plan without a single death. The first thing I'm going to talk about is planning. The carry role is all about timings, and if you don't have a plan in your mind, you will ruin your hero's timings in 90% of your games. That's the number one reason you're not consistent in your games. When you don't have a plan, you're naturally going to autopilot in all of your games, and that is the cause of your inconsistency. I'm sure you're confused about the word planning as it is very vague. I'll make it simple for you. A plan is literally a roadmap of how you want your game to go, or how the game is supposed to go for your hero. For example, what is your goal when you play heroes that want to buy Battle Fury? Something like an anti-mage, PA, or Juggernaut. Your goal is to get to a decent Battle Fury timing. There are three types of timings: an ideal timing, an okayish timing, and a bad timing. A Battle Fury timing between 10 to 12 minutes is ideal, 13 to 14 is okayish, and anything above that is bad. Similarly, there are heroes that you would want to buy a Radiance or another farming item on. Alchemist and Bloodseeker are giga meta right now and both want their Radiance ASAP. On Alchemist, an ideal Radiance timing is between minute 10 and 12, an okayish timing is minute 13, and anything above that is horrendous. On Bloodseeker, it's slightly different since he doesn't farm as fast as an Alchemist would, but you can get the idea. Another meta here is Dragon Knight. On him, you want to farm your Armlet and Mask of Madness by 13 minutes. Anything above that significantly ruins your game plan. Most heroes have an item timing that they make their game plan around, but there are certain heroes where you also have a spell timing. For example, Spectre is a weak laner, but she probably has the strongest level 6 timing in the game, and that's what every good Spectre player aims for regardless of how hard their lane is. Their game plan is to get to their level 6 timing as clean as possible, and then they use that to increase their net worth. Why are these timings very important? For a very simple reason. The faster you get to your initial item timing, the faster you can get the next item that will help you to fight. Quick examples are PA with Fury and BKB, AM with Fury and Manta, Alchemist with Radiance and Blink, Medusa with Manta and Butter or Scotty, DK with Armlet, Madness and SNY or BKB. You get the idea. Now that we know why timings make or break a carry, let's discuss why not having a plan significantly makes you worse. If you don't have a plan set in your mind as soon as the game starts, you will do things that do not align with what your hero wants to do and ruin your game. Any play that does not align with your plan is a useless play. Oh, I'm really close to my Battle Fury timing? Why not do something risky or completely random and ruin all of that? With that said, given that you are good at hitting creeps and know how to farm, the number one thing that is consistently ruining your timings is deaths, which is the second thing I'm going to talk about. When you die as a carry, you automatically delay your timings by a minute or more. That may sound overly exaggerated to you, but in the early game, you will rarely farm 500 gold per minute because your hero isn't strong enough to clear creeps faster. A single death is the difference between an ideal and a bad timing, and it's not even just that. When you die, you are also giving experience and gold to the enemy, which is not only going to make your game harder, but also your team's game harder, which could at times lead to a snowball. Here are two examples. In this example, you can see that the PA is stomping this brood and is insanely far ahead. Based on this, you could say that it's likely that this PA can get a 10-minute Fury. What you can also see is that this PA is almost 1000 gold ahead of the enemy Drow Ranger. Everything seems good, right? Here you're going to see this PA furiously aiming to kill the brood again, and she succeeds at that, but what happens after is that she ends up feeding the enemy sniper who gets 1 billion gold from her streak. And not only that, the most important detail to look at here is that this Rubik gets a whole level from both these kills. Why does this matter? Well, let's find out. 2 minutes later, the PA and CM go on the brood again and kill her, but what happens is that Rubik steals Freezing Field off the CM. Now after this, The PA and the CM use the twin gates to try to kill the enemy Drow, who is still 1000 gold behind the PA, but what happens is that Rubik with the freezing field saves the Drow and ends up turning the entire engagement. Now because of all this, PA and Drow have almost the same net worth, and regardless of having 6 kills, the PA is not going to get a Battle Fury timing even at 12 minutes. The PA does end up losing this game, and this is the biggest reason behind that. In this example, you can see that Alchemist is having a great time regardless of laning versus a Timbersaw who counters him heavily. He has 2 kills and his top net worth. At this rate, it's likely that his Radiance timing will be between minute 10 and 11, which is very ideal. Since this Alchemist is playing on autopilot and not religiously following his game plan of getting a good Radiance timing, he steps ahead half a level before his 6, which kind of makes him unkillable. He ends up dying and feeding the Timbersaw. That's not all. Timber gets his level 6 off of this kill, TPs to the bot lane, and completely destroys Dire with an ultra kill. Now this Timber, who was 1400 gold behind the Alchemist, is ahead of him, and he also counters Alchemist. The game is giga cooked because of this one death. Not only did it delay the Radiance timing, it also completely snowballed the game for Radiant. Instead of stepping forward, if the Alchemist was constantly thinking about not dying, he would go behind his tower and farm the 2 camps with his acid spray, which would likely get him his level 6 and allow him to stay in the lane. None of this would have happened if Alchemist simply prioritized his life over being greedy for the creep wave. Almost every carry hero has a level 6 timing, which allows them to be able to show up to lanes one way or another. DK's dragon form allows him to either gate to the other side and kill the enemy carry or stay in his own lane, which he couldn't before getting his ult. Alchemist with level 6 can stay even 1v2 in most matchups. Tia with traps can do the same, Anti-Mage with Mana Void can gate and kill the enemy carry, Spectre with 6 can participate in kills, and Bloodseeker with Rupchen can also gate or stay in his lane because now he is a threat. These are just a few examples, but it should give you a decent idea. So in order to avoid deaths, prioritize your safety, especially at level 5. If you're level 5 and you don't feel comfortable stepping up in the lane to get some lane creeps, don't. Literally don't. Go pull your small camp and farm your jungle till you get to your level 6. Yes, you will miss some lane creeps, but farming a small camp is better than being dead and letting the enemy snowball from your deaths. Think of the greater good. I have some concrete rules for myself that I follow to make sure that I don't feed and play as clean as possible. The goal is to play as clean as possible till the 25th minute mark. Everything after that becomes very random and out of your control in most cases. Rule number 1. In the lane, I try not to put myself in a position where the enemy can harass me mindlessly. A classic example is going for the range creep and the enemy cooking you. If I see that going for a creep is going to potentially make me lose a lot of HP, I skip it. Why? If you do the math, a creep will give you around 50 to 40 gold. A salve costs 100 gold. If you lose 400 HP for a creep, you are going to be in debt. Not to mention, you won't be allowed to even be near the wave till you're back to full HP. It's all about the greater good, my friend. Most of the deaths that happen in the lane are because of taking damage stupidly. You will rarely die 100 to 0, it's always going to be damage over time that's going to kill you. Rule number 2. After minute 6, I will not be stepping ahead of my safe lane hard camp. Why? Because it's around the time the enemy millionaire is going to be level 6 and will be looking to cook you. The further you stay away from the enemy tier 1, the harder it is to kill you. If you are farming the large camp, you are very close to the enemy tier 1, where the enemy mid laner can TP and just cook you. Any plays near the enemy tier 1 are always going to turn out bad. You remember that PA example, right? Rule number 3. If I'm close to my level 6, I will not get greedy for the wave if it's in a risky spot. I will simply either farm the camps behind my tower or pull the small camp and bring the wave under my tower. This is by far the most important tip. The Alchemist example is proof of this. Rule number 4. I will not let any random bullshit in the game distract me from my plan. Look at this example. What do you think this Lifestealer's plan is? Your guess is as good as mine. He wants to get his Radiance ASAP. Do you think what he's doing here is going to help him get to that? This is the random bullshit I'm talking about. Your teammates, especially in lower MMR, will force you into these random bullshit engagements which will completely ruin your plan. Do not let that happen. This will also happen to you in your lanes where your support will ask you to do certain things. If you feel like it's not the right play, don't do it. If you're unsure about whether it's the right play, you can always hire me as your coach and let me verify that for you. These are the 4 rules that I would highly recommend you to follow as well. You know how in most of your games, there are a billion heroes in your lane. That will also stop happening once you start playing a bit defensively. Being aggressive attracts aggressive plays from the enemy as well, which makes everyone come to your lane. With that said, I have an actionable step for you. I want you to start implementing a game plan and avoiding deaths in your next games. Obviously, it won't happen overnight that you do this perfectly well, so what I want you to do is, if you have games where you see that you've died pre-15 minutes, I want you to download that replay and see why you died. I want you to be offended at your deaths. That is the standard you need to set for yourself as a carry if you want to be the best. Don't make it easy for the enemy to kill you. If they smoked and killed you at your tier 2 at minute 10, that's fine, they worked for it, and you didn't give it away for free like you would close to their towers. Every time you open your replays to see this, keep this video in mind and the rules we've discussed, and see if any of your deaths were because you fucked up any of the rules. That said folks, if you're stuck in a rut and want to really improve in Dota, I offer coaching packages that will help you improve significantly as they have for other students. I'm introducing a new package that guarantees Immortal in 6 months or a full refund. If you're someone who is very serious about improving and wants results fast, this is the package that you want. I will only be taking in 2 students for this package for now. For the other packages, the prices will increase after this batch, and there's only 1 slot left before the batch is closed. If you're interested, you can either join my Discord, which is linked in the description, or visit my website at paindota.com. Other than that, do check Dota Academy if you're looking to join a Dota related community that offers insane value for the price. I hope you enjoyed the video and it was helpful.